Hey team, it's Conrad Tracey, addiction coach from Melbourne, Australia. Today I'm going to teach you the number one or the biggest relationship killer I see in recovery. And I don't reckon anybody is talking about this. Okay. So when we get clean, it feels really amazing. We start to make moves in life. We start to feel proud of ourselves again. But at the same time, okay, our partners, they are stuck in fear. There's doubt and there's this incredible sense of overwhelm. And the gap between our quick progress and their overwhelm is the thing that wrecks relationships fast unless you fix it. And today I'm going to show you how to avoid it and how to fix it. So what I hope to achieve today in you being here and watching this is that you'll feel better, you'll feel clear, you'll feel hopeful, and you'll have a absolute strategy on how to navigate this. Okay, so let's jump in and I'm going to show you what I call the relationship roadmap. And stick around because I'm going to show you 3 tools that I teach all of my participants and all of my clients to really nail this. Now, the relationship roadmap looks like this. Now, remember, you're feeling clear, you're feeling hopeful, you've got a bit of motivation, and everything is looking up. Okay, you're in a program, you're in a pathway, you've got support. You're standing here with me at the base of this mountain, and you're going to get in behind me, you're going to do the work, and you're going to climb to the top. Unfortunately, right, your partner is here and they are feeling suspicious. They are feeling burnt out and they are waiting for the shoe to drop. Okay. It takes a long time for trust to rebuild. And I remember once vividly speaking to a client and his wife, and we outlined this amazing plan that he was going to roll out. And she turned to me and she looked me dead in the eye and she said, "Conrad, it sounds good." And she had heard it all before. Luckily, right, we got a slightly different result there, which was really good. Now, the problem here, again, is the gap. So, we're 2 weeks clean, 3 weeks clean, and we're thinking, where's my standing ovation? Why aren't they rolling out the red carpet for me, right? And when we don't get that, that credit that we are seeking, it creates a mismatch, right? We get frustrated, it creates resentments, and it creates fights. And a lot of the times it creates relapses. Okay. So for the last 5 years, I've helped extremely high performing people bridge that gap, set realistic expectations, dial in clear communication, set goals that rebuild trust. And I have a system for it, which I'm going to show you today. It's called the relationship roadmap. Now, remember, your partner is down here and they are stuck. Okay, they're just waiting for the next thing to go wrong. You're up here, you're feeling happy and you're building momentum. And along the journey, right, you're going to do 3 really key things with me. I'm going to help you to open up in terms of your communication, your perspective, your relationships, right, and how you view yourself. I'm going to help you to show up for yourself, your friends, and your family. And then we're going to level up in life, love, and business. Okay. And we are going to move through this trajectory over the course of about 18 months. Okay. Now, the reason that I'm saying 18 months, and I want to get this out into the open really clearly and really quickly, is because that is how long it takes to rebuild trust, right? That is how long it takes for you to show up and prove to yourself and to the people around you that this is going to be solidified and things aren't going to go badly again, right? Now, the reason I think it's 18 months is because over the course of this time, right, we know that a month is 12 years, all right? 12 years. We know that a year is 12 months. My apologies. And the reason that's important, okay, and if we think about a 12-month timeline, in the course of 12 months, we've got public holidays, all right? We've got birthdays. We've got social events and calendars. We've got travel, yeah? There's Christmas. There's New Year's, right? There's a plethora of things that we could really trip over on, yeah? And I can guarantee you that your partner's, coming along to all of these things with you throughout the course of the first 12-month period, and they are gritting their teeth going, I hope they don't F this up, right? But they love you, okay? And they want to trust you again. So if you can do it for 12 months, right? So if you can actually, make this journey from here up to there, you are really doing a great job, okay? And the reason it's 18 months, okay, the reason I've tacked another 6 months on here, and it's not tacked, I've seen this roll out so many times, is that whilst they love you, right, there's still that part of them that goes, I just need to make sure it's not a fluke. Okay. You get through one year, you get through Christmas, you get through New Year's, you get through the school holidays, right? And you get through all of the public holidays that we've just had and Easter, right? And where else is happening in the next kind of 3 months. And if you can do that and you kind of get to the point where you've proven yourself, I call it 1.5 times, that is when everything starts to get super good in terms of trust and relationships. Okay. So, in terms of the way we do it, and this is critically important because, like, it's all good and well for me to sit here and go, it's going to take 18 months and you've got to get through a bunch of these social events, and once you've done that, everything is peachy. But we actually have tools and systems and strategies. Okay. So when I talk about the first 6 months of our program, we're really helping people to open up, to get into clear communication, go from a place of hiding to healing, and start to practice their emotional muscles. Okay. And we have a thing that we use called the play. And to the people that are in our program share that play with their partners. Okay. So their partners know what their plan is for the day. They know what they're learning. They know what they're grateful for. And they also know how they're self-reporting in terms of their happiness or their U score. Okay. So that level of transparency really starts to help people to recouple. Okay. And rebuild trust and transparency and a bit of integrity. Okay. It starts with conversations. It starts with dialogues. We encourage people to bring their partners into this process. Do you have any questions? Right? We run family sessions. We've got support for partners. Okay. So the first 6 months really is just about, hey, I'm here. I'm doing some work on myself and I'm going to share it with you as much as I can. And you're welcome to come and be part of that. It's critically important. Okay. And then what we do after that is we really start to show up. Okay. So we've had that time to like figure out what happened and why it happened and, kind of get set. And now we really are hitting the ground running in terms of momentum. And, this could look like finding our process again, finding our accountability and our routines. And not only doing that, so not only getting to this program, and getting into your health and fitness and your holistic things and showing up for work, but going above and beyond at work, at home. Okay. So you might start doing things around the house and they might start noticing and they're like, oh, wow, who's this person? They're really starting to show up for our family. And what we do, we've got this beautiful system called wins and roadblocks. It's incredibly simple and it's a beautiful it's a non-verbal way for couples to communicate about what is going well and what is not going well in their relationship. And it's a beautiful tool to help people stop arguing over menial things and create space for actual communication and connection. Okay. So we start to dial that in with people at about the 6-month mark. So, we're getting through all of these social events. We're doing all of these things. We look and feel different. Our partners are like, oh, wow, this could, like, it's going well. But not only are we doing that, we're actually sharing the process and the journey with them. And we're sharing our tools and our resources to not only improve our health, but improve our marriage. Okay. So wins and roadblocks. And then the last one, and this is a more advanced piece of kit. Okay. I call it relationship gardening. And this is a deep dive for people who are serious about building great relationships. And what that looks like is a place where people get together and they work through about 9 core areas of their relationship once a month, right? And we typically get them to do this relationship gardening just before they go out on a date or just before they spend time together. And by that point, your partner probably doesn't even know who they're looking at. They're so surprised that you're here and you're making this time and you're planning and doing all of these things and you're watering the garden. Okay, that's why it's called relationship gardening. So from 12 months to 18 months, that's what we dial in, and it just aligns beautifully with this cadence, right, of people opening up in terms of their emotions, showing up for themselves and their family, and then leveling up. Okay, so that is the relationship roadmap. It takes 18 months. And guys, remember the problem, right? The crux of this, and this is where it happens. It happens right here, is when that gap starts and you go that way and they stay here and you get pissed off or resentful or they happens and you break down. Okay. And that is the worst possible outcome. So what you have to realize, and if you're watching this and you know, you've got some ground to make up, this is the hard truth. Okay. You are going to have to put your tail between your legs. And that doesn't mean, you know, not being proud. And that doesn't mean, you know, not having strength or dignity. Okay. I know how to help people to do it in a way where they can still maintain some balance, right? But you got to put your head down. Sometimes you got to put your tail between your legs. You've got to keep your side of the street clean, and you've got to realize that you're probably the problem. Okay, not your partner. They're amazing. They're just showing up and going, why is my husband or my wife drinking 2 bottles of wine and taking cocaine every day, right? And ignoring me and the family. So once we stop taking the drugs, we get into rapid and candid accountability. Okay. The trick is to not think at 2 weeks, and I call it the recovery halo, right? Because at 2 weeks we're doing so well and we think we're like this angelic presence and we're changed. And to look back at your partner and go, why haven't you rolled out the red carpet for me? Where are my accolades? Where is my credit? Okay, because they are stuck. Their nervous system is stuck, complete overwhelm, right? And it's going to take time for them to trust again, for them to relax again. And the more that you show up, the more that you open up, and the more that you start to level up and do this work, their shoulders will come down and they will breathe and they will trust and they will love. And what I'll say is this: I have the same partner, beautiful, incredible woman. She's my fiance now. And she was there the day I walked into rehab when I was 37 in 2017. And today we have a deeply connected, deeply happy, deeply loving relationship. And I will probably marry her and never marry another person again in my life. Okay. And that's available for every person that goes through this. Now, I said at the start, I'm going to teach you the biggest mistake. And this is kind of the learning, but there's one thing else that you need to know. The real biggest mistake that I see, and I have seen it, is that people, sorry guys, but particularly men, they will feel that resistance, right? Oh, I'm doing so well. Why don't they trust me? And instead of putting their head down, instead of swallowing their pride and doing the work that is required, they will throw the baby out with the bathwater and go, you know what? It's too hard. This isn't for me. This is not the right relationship. We're just doing it for the kids, right? And I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, if you're working with me in a group or in a one-on-one capacity, I'll tell you the truth. If your relationship is fucked, I'll tell you, and we might stop there. But 9 times out of the 10, you're the problem. The relationship's fine. You've got to do the work. So when I see that and people throw the baby out with the bathwater, it always ends badly. Okay? Because they do that and then they end up not doing the work with me. And then they take themselves, their self, and then they roll that out onto the next person. And they have more addiction and more relationship issues. Okay? So somebody here has got to do the shift. Somebody here has got to change their identity. And I guarantee it's probably you. And people with great partners share it, and then you grow together. Okay. So guys, I hope that this has been helpful. And just remember, it takes time. It takes patience. Be realistic. Okay. I've caused a lot of damage. There's a lot of rubble. It is going to take me 1.5 years or 1.5 years or 18 months to rebuild my trust, my relationship, and get to a point where I'm not just surviving in my relationship, it is actually thriving. And we are sitting down, we're doing our relationship gardening, we're planning, we're creating future, we're creating connection, purpose, and real happiness, right? And guys, I'm just going to finish this here. I worked with an amazing guy this year. When I met him, the rings were off him, off her. And 2 weeks ago, they were back on and headed in the right direction. Okay. So it doesn't matter what depth you hit. If you're prepared to do the work and they're prepared to hear it and be open, you can rebuild, you can regain trust, and you can have a beautiful, thriving, happy relationship. Just don't make any of these mistakes. See ya.